New drivers, same path throughout.
You know what I'm starting to see, and this is irritating to me, not just because I have a book with 150,000 screenshots I need to replace, but
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft has on some PCs, on stable, replaced the start button on the taskbar with a new kind of pill-shaped thing that
Oh,
looks like
that thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, okay, the problem for me is that it's a visual difference. The big problem for me is that it's inconsistent. Like it's on
Yeah.
some PCs and not others, and who can understand these things? Um, there are different build numbers. Actually, that's the build on this one. These are the same. Yeah, actually, these are different build numbers. So, 22.621 dot something something different on both. So that maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's why. I don't know. I can't. There's nothing I can do to make this upgrade. But from a usability perspective, aside from the fact that this new thing takes up more space needlessly because its size doesn't do anything, it lost the mouse over capability. So if you use the search button in the taskbar, you probably know if you mouse over it, you'll see your most recent searches,
Mm-hmm.
like a jump list type of thing. Actually, it's just I don't know what you call it, like a flyout or something. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's not available on this new. It's like they ship this to the world like this, or to half the world, I guess, some percentage of the world. I don't
Paul, are
know.
you saying the beta test is not finally over?
That was a bitter, bitter call there. I'm just saying we need to have a funeral for the iPhone. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that didn't.
All those guys. Are Apple still around? I don't remember.
No, they don't. They don't sell many of those phones anymore.
Mm-mm.
Yep, they really, really nailed that one.
Jeez. Uh, Rick.
Speaking of
Welcome to
phones,
Monday 2.0. Yeah.
the Google Pixel Fold renders have leaked, and it looks like a crossover, of like the Samsung Galaxy one. Like it has that rounded edge, but then it kind of
Yep.
looks like a pixel-ish thing.
It's not doing a bunch for me.
Yeah, the only thing that matters is what is that foldable screen made of? Is it the plasticky crap? Then, which we all know, like you can't. It's not going to be true glass. Like there's no way.
I think this is a great device for people who just haven't had enough pixel reliability problems in their lives. These guys can't get like a normal phone right. I don't understand. Well, I mean, what do you seriously? There's a company over here that makes more smartphones than anybody, that has made more folding smartphones than anybody, and has iterated on this technology several times. Or in the other corner, we have this hapless boob who has never made a phone that works properly. But you know what? Maybe they'll get the folding one right the first time. I would trust Microsoft more than Google to make this thing.
How many are you going to order? I mean, this is right up your alley. You just described that this phone should not work. It's not going to be great, and that you have purchased
Yeah.
many
If
pixels.
there was a place I could leave money just to get in a queue, I would be in it. But no, I don't. No, I honestly, at this point in my life, I would say camera quality wins out over
Mm-hmm.
dual use or whatever. And the other issue for them, unfortunately, is that thing when it opens up isn't an iPad. This is the one thing that Apple has in their back pocket. But whenever they eventually get around to doing this with a phone, they're going to have an iPhone Pro Max that turns into an iPad Mini. And I got to tell you, that sounds really enticing. Just saying.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I like the idea of the fold. I think folding phones. I think it's a good idea. It may be it's still a little early, but I think theoretically or whatever,
Yeah.
if it works, this is. I would
don't
love to
know.
open one of those things up in a car and use it for maps, or just you're on a plane, use it for movies or playing a game or something like that. It's good. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. Foldables are just.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like they're not. I don't know. I'm not sold on
It's
them.
a little early. I know. This is always the dream, and I made the argument many years ago. Just you want a computer, you want a phone, you may want a tablet. There are three different devices. There are really good versions of each. It's not a huge deal to travel with all three.
Mm-hmm.
Just get the thing that actually works.
Yeah.
So it's a dream. I mean, we'll see what happens with it.
I mean, like my challenge, I should say challenge, is that so you double the size of the device. Like no matter what way you're either doubling it widthwise or when it's folded, it's twice as thick or twice as wide, whichever
Yeah.
stance
Sure.
you're in, whatever they're going to call them.
Mhm.
Is it twice the utility?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. But well, right. I mean, yes. So that is the issue. So day to day, throw your phone in your pocket, you head out into the world, you do whatever you do. Maybe you go to a restaurant, you go shopping, whatever it is. Is that unfolding capability necessary then? No. And this is, actually another one of my hackneyed phrases, the optimize for the everyday. Um, I'm trying to think of a good example of this. It's like people who have two cars because once a year their kid comes home and they need to borrow it, one of them, or, we live in a home that is the size of a golf course and there's only two of us because sometimes the kids come home, sometimes we like to have Thanksgiving here. There's plenty of space, so our house is optimized for that, 2 weeks a year when those things happen. Like it's not good thinking, but we all fall into this trap. For a lot of us too.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's easy to
I don't
give
know.
advice,
I'm with you that for some people it's the right device. I don't think it's for me personally. Even if Apple did, like it's the same.
Yeah. No, sure. But right. I mean, you're right. But I think some people will do, like my wife is able to, like I read on an iPad, and the iPad stays in the house. I don't bring it out with me in the world. I can read on my phone if I'm sitting waiting to get my hair cut or something. But when I travel, I throw it in the bag. It doesn't, it's like probably weighs a pound or something. Who cares? Probably weighs less than a pound. I don't know what it weighs. But my wife likes to read on her phone for some reason. She has a pretty big phone, but so she doesn't have this other device, right? She doesn't have to worry about like another thing. And there's actually a benefit to that as well. I'm not saying one of these is better. I wouldn't want to do it, like just read on a phone personally, but I guess I could, but this wouldn't be ideal to me. So I think there's different things for different people, maybe. Is the way to think of it. I'm just trying to think through it. The device that can replace two devices is the white whale of our industry. It's the dream, for device makers, I guess. Although, we know Apple likes to sell two devices instead of one. So
maybe it's because I don't use tablets. Like my kid has an iPad and she uses that, but first of all, I don't touch it because it's covered in some sort of film and goo and other
a new life form has occurred on.
Yeah, there's probably fungus growing
Mm.
on that. I don't know. She spilled Kool-Aid on it. It's lived a life. And it's only 18 months
You'll be
old.
delighted to track this little bit of history, but I was reading reading the paper, as I say, on the iPad, watching a tape of a news clip. I'm just going to talk in old-timey speak the whole time. Anyway, I'm reading on the iPad this morning, and because of the way the sun shifts, it has moved over enough that the way I normally sit in the chair, it's like hitting me right in the face.
Mm-hmm.
So I shifted over, so I was kind of leaning the other direction. And I'm next to one of those Sonos speakers that you sold to me. And there's this crap all over the stand that it's sitting on that somehow I've never seen before. Like something, I thought it was like a coffee spill or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it had, like the bottom of the speaker was kind of dirty. I was thinking I was never going to be able to clean the top of this thing. So I took the speaker off the stand, grabbed a sponge and a towel, and I cleaned it all off. And it still kind of looked like coffee, but it was weird. And like, God knows how long it had been there. And then I realized what it was my daughter, when she was home, probably in August, that's how long ago it was, when we were in Mexico, moved a plant up on top of the speaker because the dog was eating it. The dog wasn't doing too good this year. And someone must have watered the plant on top of the speaker. Like that must be what it is, right? So this is like 3 months later or something. I just saw it. I cleaned it. It's clean fine. Even the stand looks fine. But like, that's what kids are like, dude.
Yep.
There's nothing I own that's nice that cannot be destroyed by a child. Well, I mean, it is fine. I think we've been using the speaker. It's fine, but right. But you don't want to see that. Kids.
Yeah, that's
it's a gift that keeps on giving.
They really are. My kid, this is sort of along the same vein of kids are great. So my car got a whatever magical software update yesterday, and when the car gets a software update, it shows you on the screen. Now I know I can Google this or whatever, but it was in the morning. I like just tapped through them like on my phone to update the car before we left for school, and it'll show you on the screen what's new, which is great. And there's new features all the time. But one of my favorite things my kid does is she runs out to the car and opens Spotify and puts music on. And I get in the car and she goes, "Yeah, Daddy, I just went through the news screen because I didn't think you wanted to read that stuff." It's like, maybe I did. Maybe.
All right. I apologize. I'm not trying to one up you. I know this is what this sounds like, but you have, of course, reminded me of an incident from my son's youth where I don't know if it can't have been the first Xbox 360. It must have been the Xbox 360, like the slimmer one, the second one, the S or whatever. I was on a work trip, and my wife says, "Hey, you got this package from Microsoft or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, good. That must be the new Xbox 360. Fantastic." So I'll come home and, I can when I get home from the trip tomorrow, I'll take photos of it and set it up. I get home the next day and the Xbox 360 is sitting out of the box, which looks like it has been opened by a rat trying to get to food. Like my son tore through it like an animal to get to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Destroying the chance of me taking a picture of the unboxing process, or, like he literally ripped the side of there's like a white cardboard cover that you kind of slip off or whatever over the thick cardboard. Like he ripped it. Like he was so excited to see this. And anyway, he's alive today. So I'm not a horrible person, but man, that was a dark moment of like, what the frick what were you thinking? This isn't for you. Just wait a day. Kids.